Portugal.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Monson here with a Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Forgive me, I was just sending a message to Bobby O'Reilly. I was concerned that the kangaroo spotting at Aroera might be his. We can confirm it's not. His is safe and well. Only kidding, he doesn't really have a kangaroo. That lovely shot you saw, the opening meme this morning from that lady who we will have on the show one day. She posts brilliant pictures up of Portugal every day. Several, and she's wishing you, look, enjoy your day, everyone. What a way to start the day here. Lovely coffee. Cafezinho with a little, that's not, what is that? That's a little, I think we'll ask Antonio Barbosa. It's Tony time this morning. The man in the Minho is with us. He'll know what pastry that is, and we'll talk to him in just a moment. And João Ernesto joining us at 9:30 this morning. We haven't talked much about the Olympics. John will talk to us about the Olympics, and also will answer this question, as I hope Tony will as well. This is from the fabulously named Rachel Bonking, who does some retreats around the Silver Coast area. And a little survey here. When people in the 1970s were asked what the good life meant, they tended to respond with things like a happy marriage, children, fulfilling job, or doing something that improves society. When the same question was asked in the 1990s, people responded with things like a holiday home, new television, trendy clothes. Yes, one of those great big televisions. Trendy clothes and generally loads and loads of money. Loads of money. This is what Thomas Curran shares. Now, what is it in this day and age? Can we do a little survey? Says Rachel there. I think it's an interesting question. Can we do a little survey? Some things never seem to die. I was a COO, of a market research company in a past life. What does it mean to have a good life? And of course, we're all about that here, having a good life in Portugal. Tony's here to celebrate that with us. João Ernesto a little bit later on. And I just did my little impromptu pigeon impersonation there. Got some great video for you this morning. This little clip that I made, just 10 seconds of, you can add your own pigeon sound effects, and you could even walk across the kitchen if you like and copy these pigeons that I captured. One of the lovely little sequences I captured in Lisbon last week. Here we go. Oh, there they are. Oh, isn't that lovely? I quite like that little vignette of Lisbon life there. Okay, another video for you. We'll ask him about this when he joins us in about 17 seconds. The concentration on his face. Let's give him a nice big round of applause. Hola, bon dia! The man in the Minho. Some Tony time for you this morning. What was happening there? So quite the look of intensity on your face as you stepped up to the sushi there, Tony.
It's all about the good life, Carl.
That's your answer to the question. The good life to you is a bottle of fizz and a big pile of sushi.
The good life. That is great moments when you're around friends. That was a sunset party. You know, we have those up here in the Minho too. It's not just in Lisbon or Porto. There's no shortage of parties.
Yes. Tell us more about that one. That looked amazing.
You know, it was. This is held in it's a farm where they do a few events. You know, weddings, baptisms, you know, and stuff. So. And a friend of mine just did last week and this week sunset parties, you know, so bring friends, people around, and a lot of Spanish people, Portuguese, everyone mixed around. Good music, nice vibe, great looking people, beautiful people, good food. Well, sushi. There's actually John is there. He's going to be on. You can ask him. It's Maqueto. He's in Ponte de Lima. He's fantastic. That's where the sushi comes from. So he had a sushi maker there.
Is it traditional Portuguese sushi?
No, there's no traditional, but he gets. I mean, you know what the traditional Portuguese sushi is? You go to Trás-os-Montes or Alentejo. You go to Trás-os-Montes or Alentejo, and you have the smoked ham. That's the Portuguese sushi. If you roll it up really nice, it kind of will look like it. That's sushi Portuguese style.
and some of that little fat rice to go with it. Some very nice Portuguese rice. We do grow rice here in Portugal, don't we? Excellent. So the big question then is, how do we get invited to such a party?
You got to reach out to me, the man in the Minho. Tony time. I always say to everybody, I'm a big source, a great source of useless information. After years of traveling the world and friends living here, doing things. I mean, there's, Carl, maybe the good life is you've been to a few places, you've done a few things, maybe you know a few people. That's the good life. And people know you. It's not sometimes, it's not what you know, it's who you know, it's who knows you. Who knows you? And that's the thing.
Very good. So you're living the dream up there. We're getting a good sense of what you see as the good life here in 2024. What else is going up there in the north then, Tony? The weather, it seems to be, for me, it's certainly a fascinating topic of conversation. Strange summer, this one. How is it for you?
Warm. You gotta be. It's humid. It's a little bit humid than usual, but that's up here. The Minho. I gotta tell you, in the last 20 years, we've seen the effects of global warming here. Okay, I mean, it goes without saying. For the winters, we're still very fortunate. It does rain, get water. It's still lush and green, but the weather has changed a little bit. But it's been like in the last 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks. We're fortunate. We have that nice breeze, northern Atlantic. So it kind of cools it down. So I can imagine when it's 30 degrees, 32 here, when you're down by your ways or in the south, when it's 35, 40 degrees, it's hot. I mean, that's probably what's changed. Now there's a lot more immigrants, Portugal does have a big migration community, France, England, United States, Canada, all over the world. Portugal, I think, has discovered many countries and migrated there.
Outwards, yes, okay, yeah.
The month of August, they come back. We see a lot of them, especially French. They bring their big cars and big roads.
Yes, I've definitely noticed that. Now, is it true that they don't necessarily drive those all year round? They hire a nice big one to drive back to see the folks in Portugal?
Absolutely. They're living the good life. That's their good life.
Yeah, fair enough.
I drive around my Pinto all year round, and it gets me where I need to go. Because then when I can go on a holiday, you know what? Maybe I'll get a nice convertible or something. But people, they do it, and because when they're there, they're working a lot. The migration life. Anybody's Portuguese and it's listening has been out there, whether to whatever country. It's not easy, Carl. You can imagine when people migrate here to Portugal and they're getting started, saving money. Doing, the Portuguese do it there. They have 2 or 3 jobs as well. When they move here, the Portuguese here don't want to do it here for some reason. I think Portugal has created a society of doctors and engineers and people that just don't want to work. We need the labor force, right? So
those lazy doctors and lazy engineers. What are they like?
Yeah. That's my opinion. And anybody, I have no problem telling anybody to their face because it's the truth. That's why we have to outsource a lot of labor from other countries. And
you're talking about the grafters, right? You're talking about manual work, serious hard work.
Manual work in the factories, getting the stuff done, getting somebody to clean the pool, getting somebody to cut the grass, simple stuff. Where's a lot of businesses? People will do that for years and they build businesses. How many people do I know that migrated probably years ago? They start a small little business, cutting grass, doing that as a hobby. They had a full-time job. They have 2 or 3 jobs, and it develops into a side hustle, into a business. Yeah. What do you think that migrants, when they come to Portugal here from all over the world, they do that? They start over. Hey, I can see a business opportunity here. There's always I think people when they're good at something and they're able. This is a service industry, and those that do it, they come and live the good life here. With the sun, then they can go out on a sunset party, whatever, travel around in Portugal itself, having a good life, you know what it is? Not worried about bombs being blasted around you. Safety, that's a good life, isn't it? Those are
It
things that
is.
people, they didn't have to worry about that. It may be in the 60s or 70s or whatever it is. But now, not just getting around and being happy. That's a good life. I mean, having money in your pocket.
There are some immigrants coming in and doing some hard work and very interesting work. I've got to tell you about the facelift I had yesterday. Now, some would say giving me a facelift could be very hard work. I think Sarah did a great job. Went to see Sarah yesterday. I've written about it in the Portugal Resident this week. There she is. Her spa experience is amazing. It's much more than a spa. I had not just relaxation. You'd have loved this, Tony. Maybe we should go next time you're here on the Silver Coast. Maybe you'll join me and get your feet in the foot bath, get the gloves on, have the electrodes on your face and on your neck. It was extraordinary. That was just the start of a 2-hour session in which I left my body. She said to me afterwards, "Oh yeah, you had a bit of a foot massage." I don't even remember that bit. I was away with the fairies, Tony. It was amazing, the most amazing experience. And I think perhaps a little foolish later on in the day to then join the fun at the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club. It was a sublime to the ridiculous. And I think when you've had an energetic treatment like I had there with Sarah, perhaps not, it's probably contraindicated to go on a bit of a booze up in the evening. But I think that's your kind of lifestyle, isn't it? Spa in the morning, wine in the evening, kind of vibes there. So Sarah, thank you so much. It wasn't just relaxation. It was a complete reset. I slept like a baby during the treatment, slept like a baby last night, had a bit of dream stuff going on. When you've had a sort of transformational experience, sometimes I think the subconscious needs to process things. Had some intense dreams at some point, but slept very heavily other than that. So thank you, Sarah. An amazing experience. So I'm going to come up to your sunset party. Maybe you'll come down here, Tony, and have some of that.
Absolutely. Let's do it. I wouldn't mind transcending, and maybe I have a lot of my subconscious also to
process. Okay, I can't guarantee that she can process all of that in one go.
So when I go meet Sarah, says I want the Carl experience. That's what she got to put it on the menu. I want the Carl experience.
The full Carl, I think it's now called.
I want to transcend. I want to transcend in maybe in a past life. I don't know. Maybe I was something.
She's a very gifted energy worker, Tony. We're going to have an amazing time when you come for that. Right. There's a request that's come through. Maybe could you tell us a bit more about the World Dance events going on all this week in Monção, but also in the Arcos de Valdevez, Ponte de Barca, Ponte de Lima. There's loads going on up there. I mean, the north of Portugal doesn't hold back when it comes to the festa and the cultural season, right?
Absolutely. The festival dance, it's been going on for quite a few years. I'm not sure maybe their 8th or 9th, maybe even 10th year, quite a few years. And they go from municipality to municipality. So you have it in Valença, Monção, Arcos de Valdevez, Vila Nova de Cerveira, Ponte de Lima, the whole region here, each municipality. And you got to remember something. This is, if you want to have parties and festas, the Romarias. The Romarias are where each single municipality or even single village will pay homage to their patron saint. And especially so if you come, and it's a good thing is they don't overlap each other. They're all spread out. Like, so you go from town to town, municipality to municipality. They have the fireworks, the music, some really good bands, acts, people outdoors. And that's what the month of August is for. Up here in the Minho, it's about people getting outside, friends that haven't seen each other, get together, etc. All the good stuff, the good life.
More of that. That's Rachel's question, and it was cheeky, isn't it? Who doesn't like a good bonking first thing in the morning? That was the question. If you've only just joined us, that is the question. What does the good life mean now? And we're doing it, aren't we, here in Portugal? And it's an amazing how all of these events are synchronized. Do all the councils, municipalities get together and figure out how it's going to sort of sequence throughout the summer, so you can go from one party to another here in Portugal, which should be in travel guides, should be in travel brochures. Come and party in Portugal. I've never seen that. It's very doable, very possible here, isn't it? Across the country, not just in the north.
Yeah, they don't overlap. Like the biggest, really great. I mean, even you have up until September in Ponte de Lima, the Feiras Novas. You have in Viana do Castelo, which is like they do a show. It's a show like a procession. they have like bodyguards and lots of undercover police. You ever see the how they used to dress up going to the fields? Okay, with all the gold. You've never seen it in Viana do Castelo. It's a big
No.
celebration. It's a special Senhora da Agonia. It's one of the most beautiful things. Fireworks. Every single municipality will have fireworks afterwards, but they do it over the bridge. There's the river, the Lima River. It's a bridge actually designed by one of the disciples of Gustavo Eiffel, like you have in Porto, the bridge as well. And so, but Viana do Castelo is a must, and that's like the second week. It's not this week; it's the next week of August. But every single village will have a patron saint, no matter how small or big the village is. Even if you have 100 people in the village, there's a saint there that really protects it. It's the patron saint, and they'll get together, do a nice little procession. A church. It doesn't have to be a big old festival, depending on, because they raise money, right? And even the city halls for these things, they have a budget for that. So because they want people, it's part of their tourism as well. They have a lot of visitors. But Senhora da Agonia in Viana do Castelo is one not to be missed. Ponte de Lima, that's like the first week of September. It's called the Feiras Novas. That is another festival not to be missed. It's like a 3-day festival. So, and like on the beach, it's the river, the Lima River, and every single municipality up here has its own tradition and its own visitors that come. So it's a festive time. It really is. In this north, you have it in Portugal, throughout Portugal too, not just an essential part, But it is the good life, Carl. It is the good life.
Before I forget, why are they wearing gold to the fields? What's that about?
Well, it was a prominent that was actually gold that they didn't wear to the field. It's just to decorate, like I guess show not in the field. They wouldn't.
I mean, Portugal has done everything before every other culture. Now you're telling me that like local people are wandering about wearing their gold into the fields. Perhaps this is like sort of gangster culture, Portuguese style from another century.
Yeah, if you go, but believe me, Carl, if you look it up and you Google and you say Senhora da Agonia, the gold. And the amount of gold that there is, people, it's hundreds of women. There's one that's special because it's chosen to be the postcard or on the image. It's like a special, like they
How
choose.
How are we spelling that, Tony? How are we spelling that so we can look it up?
Senhora, Senhora, Agonia, Agonia.
Right.
Festas da Agonia, Senhora da Agonia, Viana do Castelo.
Okay, and tell us a bit more. While I'm finding that, can you tell us a little bit more then about that? Is it the filigree style of
yes, exactly, the
filigree? That makes some sense. Yeah.
Okay. And what it is, it's because they honor the Senhora da Agonia. That's the fisherman's patron saint. So it has to do with the fishermen, because Viana do Castelo was a small fishing village, right, as well, before it's a city. And so there's a small little chapel. It's not the big church. It's a small little chapel there, and it's just a festive time that goes on. Exactly. Yes. There
we go. So from the 14th, you still got time to catch that this year. Festas da Agonia. I guess, is that sort of like a religious agony translation?
Because it's to pay homage to all the
passion and the agony. Yeah, absolutely.
They go to the, they're going, on their fishing vessels, small boats, fishing. And it's just a homage to the ones that are already. See, you see the gold that's around their necks. It's a lot.
Yeah. Okay, that's where you're wearing your wealth in Viana do Castelo there, on display. A look, and some amazing marionettes as well. This looks incredible. This is a big festival up there in the north of Portugal.
Not to be missed. It's once in your lifetime. Live the good life in Viana do Castelo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the good life and how we're living it here in Portugal.
Carl, I've been living. There's
your gold. There's the gold right there.
There you go. See how it's hundreds and hundreds. There's something special about living here. For me, I've been on a permanent vacation for almost 24 years, right? So for me, it is the good life. when you live, when you do, and you constantly have that feeling you're on a permanent vacation, you really don't have to go anywhere. You have everything around you, right? So that's for me, that is, I can't get any more descriptive and simple of a good life, is that you don't have to go after anything. It comes to you, Carl. Everything comes to you. Well, I think when you're younger, you're always chasing things and stuff. You don't have the maturity level enough to just sit there and wait, right?
Some say I still don't, Tony, but I get you. I get your drift with this. You're absolutely right. There is something about letting it come to you, and you can certainly do that in this country. Look, isn't it beautiful? Look at this. This is the floral carpets, of course, and thank you to Aviva, who's here this morning, who sent similar pictures over from Madeira just recently. Look at that. I want to go, and it's like a mandala, isn't it? Everything that we marvel at around the world, the mandalas in the Far East, they're here in Portugal. Quite incredible. And most things that we marvel at around the rest of the world, we have some version of it here in Portugal.
It's a procession. When you have all the people that are dressed up in their outfits and the gold and this, it's a procession that goes to the ocean. There's one in Vila Praia d'Âncora. You know where they do the procession? They do it in the procession is done in the Atlantic. Everybody gets in their small little boats. Instead of walking in the street, the procession is around the ocean, right? In Vila Praia d'Âncora. That's a small little seaside village as well up here.
And this is also, I'm realizing now, a Portuguese tradition that you multitask doing your laundry with other aspects of your life. Because here in São Martinho de Porto, I can go to the bar and there's a little laundromat next to the bar, and I can watch the football. I can have a burger and chips, a cerveja or imperial, and do my laundry all at the same time. Now, you can go to a festa here in Portugal, take your laundry as well. Is this a service wash, or do you do it yourself, or is it optional?
I think this is do-it-yourself. You bring your own. You have BYOB. Well, BYOL. Bring your own laundry. So BYOL.
We've got it all here. Sarah, I hope you heard my review of you earlier on. You'll be able to read about it in the paper later on this week, fingers crossed. But Sarah, this is the Sarah I was talking about before, who sent me into another dimension yesterday in a very good way.
Well, Carlito, Sarah, I want the Carlito experience. He transcended to another world. Okay, so when I go, I think you should put that on offer it, the Carlito experience.
Yes, I'll gladly endorse that. After that amazing experience, Tony, I came out and I didn't know what day it was really, and I didn't care what day it was either. And Mrs. M's sending me messages. I picked up a little bit later on. I wandered into Intermarché. I thought I'll have lunch here in the canteen in Intermarché. And I get my phone out, and people have been trying to get in touch with me, and I just couldn't care less. I was just sat there.
You were on a natural high. You were on a
natural high. The good life, more of the good life. Here in Portugal. So there you go. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. The Festa da Gonia up there in Viana do Castelo. That's upcoming amid many other festivities and celebrations at the moment. Wall to wall partying, the good life personified over here.
Sunset parties, you got so many. There's so much to do, Carl. Wine festivals. Then you have the wine harvest season too. When you have the Alvarinho, when you have the Vinho Verde, the Harvard Festival. Those are, everywhere. There's every time of the year when you saw those little the streets lines, they do it overnight. They put the flowers and sand. They decorate the streets, right? Yes. There's a lot of things. I think that's done in the Corpo de Deus, the Corpus Christi, before Corpus Christi. So there's a lot of stuff throughout the year. There's so much that you can't be at all. So you have to kind of just, every single year something new.
Yeah, you do have to pick wisely, don't you? And go to the things that you really want to see. And then remember, of course, you can go see the things you didn't see this year, next year. Aljubarrota Medieval Fair is coming up. That's the one with the wonderful role play of how the Spaniards in retreat said to Maria, the baker, "Can we hide in your oven?" "Oh, yes," she said. And I'll leave the rest of that story to your imagination, or you can go and find out exactly what happened. Suffice to say, do you like Spaniard on your pizza? Sorry, go on, Tony.
No, by the way, the dish with that little dessert that you had with the coffee, I think it's a feijão, o bolo de feijão that has powdered cream. I don't think it's or a pastel de nata. I can't really tell. But I think
you're right first time. It could be a pastel de nata with a lot of icing sugar on the top. But
exactly. But if it's not, it's not a pastel de nata, then it's a bolo de feijão, which is delicious too. Those are really good. The bean cake.
Yeah, we'll get her on the show at some point. My beautiful country on X. I have reached out to her. She said she would join us one morning. So looking forward to that. Let's make sure we say hello to everybody. We'll do the God Squad tip of the day when John joins us because he wants to talk about the Olympics. Coach Turner was in earlier on. We've got James. Bom dia, Gambas. Feliz terça a todos. Como va? Deagle's in. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers is a nippy night, 7 degrees in Belfast. Dry maximum, 15 today, but we have glimpses of blue sky. Enough blue in the sky to patch a hole in a sailor's coat. It's going to be a nice day. Get out and enjoy today. A good motivational message from Mr. McKillen there. Good morning, everyone from Nunu, who says as well, another thing to explore, maybe when the Festa season has calmed down a little bit. Dear community, try to explore the Portuguese landscapes in the interior. You'll find amazing river beaches. Another treasure here in Portugal, the river beaches. Haven't been to one for a long time. I'm feeling I need to go to a river beach. I swim in the bay here, but I'd love to get in a river beach again sometime soon. Good morning, everyone from Gemini, who's with us. João will be with us in a few minutes. Bom dia, Portugal from him. Antonio F is in as well this morning. And Michael Barton as well. Thanks for being here this morning. Much appreciated. Jackie, the humble crafter, and Swede in Portugal, although in Stockholm this morning. And a lovely picture that you sent in. Here's another good life snap. Not Portugal this time, but Sweden. Isn't that a nice scene? Summer in Sweden and a lovely a family hammock there. Me and you could get in that, Tony, together.
And some.
And some. Right.
We have room for the wine bottles.
We do, and we can hang corkscrews and glasses from those tassels.
The chorizo that we can get
that's one afternoon.
Get it all there.
Other pictures coming in this morning. This is Belfast from Deagle, a pigeon man. We are posting alternative pictures of pleasant scenes in the United Kingdom at the moment, because there are some grisly pictures at the moment. There's a nice picture of a man with pigeons in Belfast, and a picture from the UK. This is Exmoor that was sent in from a Gumper as well. Thank you very much for sending that in to us, Paul. Exmoor, isn't that beautiful? A nice flat lake. Not very good for water skiing, it has to be said, with no slope or angle on it, but quite nice for
reminds
boats.
me of the Alentejo. Looks like the Alentejo in the
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not as green as my secret lake, though. How about this, Tony? This is near Alcobaça. That's no filter. I mean, apart from the processing of the camera itself, I didn't add anything to that. The color of that sky and the color of that water. That's beautiful. Where I saw a snake one day. We call it that. This family calls it the Snake Lake, because a snake made its way towards us, and we ran. I'll be honest, we ran away from the snake making its way towards us. More good life pictures from Foz de Relho. A nice couple of margaritas there, set up and ready with a view across the mouth of the. Well, it's where the Óbidos Lagoon meets the Atlantic, right there, and you get a different pattern every day in how those two masses of water meet each other. And one of the lovely bars, obviously, there in Foz de Relho. Thank you to the Bartons for that. What a lovely time in the last week over there. Right, final comment. In conclusion today, always fun hanging out with you, the man in the Minho. Bit of Tony time for you this morning on a monthly basis, the first Tuesday of the month. What have you got for us in conclusion, Tony? An invitation to that party, I hope.
Yeah, here I got an invite. You wanna spend 10 days and 9 nights? Join me on the Portugal Experience Tour, that you'll see why I love living here. I have my roots here, of course, but spend 10 days, 9 nights, and you'll see the Minho. You'll see it all. You'll eat it all. You'll drink it all. You'll see it, the culture. Every single municipality we visit, pretty much here in the north. So because everyone has its own little identity. But yeah, and 2 seats are left. So we're closing out the event. It's August 14th, next week.
And you get to meet some characters on that trip, because we had Beth Sands, didn't we, who joined us last time. She's a Californian realtor. She's a hoot. And you met her, I think, on that trip. And she loved it so much she decided to stay even longer, didn't she? After her trip. 2
months. She went back last week. 2 months. And next week I'm going to try to next month definitely. Instead of having us here or break it up in between, I'm going to start bringing friends that we've helped move here. We're a little suspect. We love Portugal, right? I mean, we're happy. We're living the good life. But better to hear it from other people. Maybe that says, they're making this stuff up. It can't be that good. So we'll get people here that I'm gonna have friends. We don't have clients. We have friends where they can come and share their experience. And some beautiful experiences, why they chose Portugal, and even renovating homes and going through the process, the law, all the legal bureaucratic. Let them and maybe make because some really have some beautiful stories. So it'll be a pleasure. That's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you. Yeah, bring friends. It's always great fun hearing. You and I are very, very partial, aren't we, when it comes to Portugal? People, I'm pretty predictable. But it's all true. That's the thing. And just one final talking of experiences. Yes, your Carlito experience awaits you on the Silver Coast, Tony. So consider that a bookie. Take care, mate. All the best. Have a great day in the Minho. Ciao, ciao. Thank you very much. Muito obrigado. There he goes. I'll tell you what. Let's keep that applause going because João Ernesto, also like our other man in the Minho, joins us this morning. How are you, John? Tudo bem?
Very good, thank you. I changed my name handle, whatever, to De Lima.
That looks really good, João Ernesto De Lima.
If he's Tony of the Minho, I'll be João De Lima.
That's great. Each time we see you on the screen, your name sort of becomes more sophisticated and elevated, doesn't it? It was João de Norte, then it was João Ernesto, even more sort of culturally appropriate. And now the full formal title of, I'm going to give you a Lord as well. Lord João Ernesto de Lima is with us. All rise. And so how's it going up there, John? Is that a typical day behind you that we're seeing at the moment in Ponte De Lima?
Typical summer's day, yes, for sure.
Wonderful.
Full leaf.
Yes.
And blue skies and clouds.
And that will be the Lima itself, will it, behind you?
Yes, this is the Lima itself behind me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I think you quite liked the idea of looking at how we've changed our view of the good life over the decades. We may talk a little bit about that. And perhaps we start with the Olympics because to my embarrassment and shame, we really haven't talked very much about the Olympics so far. There's so much going on in the world at the moment, isn't there? I can report that Portugal is doing pretty well in the Olympics. There's already a silver, a bronze and a gold for the Olympic team there. So well done. Keep up the great work, Portugal. Are you a keen Olympics fan? Do you always watch every time it's on?
You try to, yeah.
Okay. And what are your favorite sports?
Personally, I am a big volleyball fan. Both Pam and I played competitively when we were younger, both in work leagues and community leagues and those kinds of things. Won a trophy once.
Did you?
Yeah.
What position were you in? Were you at the front there smashing it?
Well, we would rotate, but I had a really good serve. I never did master the jump serve, but I had a very good serve, and I was a very good front spiker. I think I might have told you before that I dislocated my left shoulder many times. So I used to be able to spike with both hands, but I had to compensate and never, because I actually dislocated my shoulder once when I was spiking.
No.
Yeah,
agony,
because
agony on the court.
So loose that it would pop out. So I've dislocated it 20 times.
And are you so good at it now that you can pop it back in yourself? Is that how it works?
I popped it in back myself the first time.
Okay, all right. You just gave yourself a hug, and there it was, back in.
No. There's a specific technique for doing it, which causes no harm. It's not the slam it against the wall type,
Yes, okay.
but it's because it just hangs down. So you have to rotate it up.
Yes.
Basically, it's a ball and socket. It's out, and it needs to be rotated back in. So it just follows the physiology of it.
You make it sound so calm and simple. I'm sure it's a little bit more stressful in the moment of replacing the ball in the socket.
Well, I've had to help others get their shoulders back in too, in some pretty awkward position or pretty awkward circumstances. You know, places where they were miles away from any help and that sort of thing.
Wow. Isn't it good to know that we've got some incredible skills in this community?
But it definitely was the worst pain I've ever felt the first time because,
Really?
yeah.
My
But
goodness.
I've dislocated it jumping into a pool. I've dislocated. I had my arm around Pam, and I was a lightning bolt, a thunderstorm, and I just by jumping out of my skin, I dislocated it. I've dislocated it lifting weights. As I said, playing volleyball.
I think it's a Guinness Book of Records should be in touch with you for the most shoulder dislocations. Plus, you being able to pop it back in yourself. Okay, so you're watching the Olympics and watching the volleyball and reliving those sort of particular memories. Who's winning in the volleyball then?
Well, the U.S. team just made it into the semifinals. They defeated Japan. Wait, no, it was, oh gosh, it was last night. It was, Pam, help me out. Who did they play last night? Anyway, I think they played Italy. Anyway, it was they won 3-1, 3 games to 1. So it's best of 5.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was Brazil. Brazil was actually ranked first. Yeah. Right. Thanks. Yeah, they defeated Brazil, but the game of the day yesterday was Italy versus Japan, because you're playing. It's best of 5, and so Japan quickly won 2 sets. So wow, they have it in the bag. And then the third set, you played at 25, and so first one to 25, but you have to win by 2. And so the third game, I think, went to, so tied at 25-25 and then 26-26. And I think it was eventually 28-26 or something like that. So it was really close. It was like, oh, wow, they're back in it. And then Italy, the fourth game. So, okay, Japan's going to win this. And then the fourth game went also to like 27-25, and then now it's tie. And then so for the fifth game they played a 15, and it went, it was 14-14, 15-15, and then Italy won that one. So they won 3 straight sets, and it was just devastating, of course, to Japan.
Yeah,
and Japan had been so good. So it was just a very compelling series. But that's the competitive indoor event rather than the beach volleyball. That's my favorite one, is the indoor one. Both men's and women's, I must say, both are extremely compelling.
Yes,
the physiques of these athletes are just incredible. Some events, you're big and muscular, or you're short and fast, or you're very fit, but these guys, they're all like they're all like 2 meters tall, and they're extremely fit, and even the women, I mean, there are 2 meter plus tall women playing, and on virtually all teams, both the Asian teams as well as the European teams, and it's my suggestion to the Olympic Committee, if they are listening,
which they are, of course,
would be to have a mixed indoor volleyball event, because they have mixed tennis and other things, so they should have a mixed indoor volleyball. 3 men, 3 women on a side, and I think that would be fantastic. There's certain events where the men competing in the event versus the women competing in the event, it's substantively different looking, and you would one playing and the other wouldn't work. But volleyball is one where, boy, the athletic level of either gender is just fantastic.
It sounds like it's really changed over the years then. So in the same way that in football, you have these like chunky men from the 70s who would have a smoke and a pint of beer at half time, have been transformed in the last 50 years into incredible athletes. Same is true for volleyball, right? I mean, presumably it was a very different sport a few decades ago, and it's really evolved.
I wouldn't say, not just a few decades ago. I mean, Karch Karai, he's the head coach for the women's national team, the U.S. women's national team, and he was a fantastic player back in the 90s. And I think before that it was even, maybe not the level it is now, but it was still extremely good. The other event I enjoy watching actually is table tennis, and to see those, I have to pause it and do it.
It's impossible, isn't it?
Frame advance, because the serves they do this underhand chicken wing kind of
chicken wing serve, yes.
Kind of, it's a serve that's kind of like that, where they can. It's not just back spins it's side spins and it's just amazing. And to see that little flick of the wrist and do it in slow motion and see what they're doing is just fantastic. And then the gold medal match was yesterday, and that was between two Chinese women. I'd seen some men's one. Now that one's interesting to watch the old videos from the Olympics in the 50s, to watch table tennis from the 50s versus table tennis now, which is just, it's a completely different, you're not even watching the same thing.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you for that. Are you keeping an eye on the Portuguese performance as well? I think there's one medal so far, isn't there, from a judo entrant?
Yeah, I watched the judo woman advance to one of the upper rounds, and then she eventually lost, but that was compelling.
Made it to the podium, didn't she, for sure?
Not sure if she made it.
I thought she picked up we're in 66th place
bronze she did. Pam, thank you, Pam.
Pam is the true Olympic expert behind the scene.
She does have one medal in the Olympics. It's a bronze, and it's the judo.
It's the bronze for judo there. Bairandi also has a neighbor, I think. One of my daughter's Portuguese ex-classmates from our village. Yes, okay, a neighbour competing for Portugal in the Olympics. So good luck to the Portuguese team, and of course, good luck to you and your native country, who you might be supporting in the Olympics. Let us know how your team are getting on. Antonio F telling us 1,000 meters. Oh, I think I might have missed something here. You've got the Olympic medalist from PDL.
And is from Ponte De Lima.
Yeah,
and he's competed in his third Olympics. Has a chance to win a third gold. I mistyped there. It's the 1K event.
There we go.
So as Antonio mentioned, he's one of 5 athletes from Portugal with 2 Olympic medals, and he has a good chance to bring back a third.
Excellent. And finally, the Olympics are on TV. I was really surprised. We just weren't hearing about the Olympics until recently, and then it went into all kinds of political stuff, didn't it? And was overshadowed with some of the I don't know, not so great aspects. It just got turned into a political football for a couple of days. But we're back into the true spirit of the Olympics now, are we? You can safely sit at home and enjoy it without all that nonsense going on, and have a great time. As an armchair fan, can you now?
Yeah, and actually, I'm personally enjoying it more here than I did in the U.S., primarily because there's like 0 commercials.
Okay, very good.
And you can watch, I think it's Channel 2 or whatever, and it's the Portuguese broadcast, and it's virtually all day long, and they follow the Portuguese athletes in a variety of different events. So you can see them in equestrian, you can see them in the judo, you can see them. I think they had. I watched a sailing race where Portugal was competing in it, and today there's going to be an equestrian event, and there's also going to be a team, a 2-person canoe sprint. And so there's a Portuguese competitor in that, which we have a team. So we have a chance to win a medal today.
So Fernando Pimenta, who we're looking at to win that 3rd gold, then, by the sound of it.
That event is not till tomorrow, I think. The 1,000 meter, and that's a 1,000 meter kayak event.
Well, boa sorte to Fernando Pimenta. For his 3rd medal, which will be a first for a Portuguese competitor, I think. Excellent stuff. Thank you, Anthony, for that confirmation. Sorry, John, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so that, you have the Portuguese channel, and then you have all the Eurosport channels, which are broadcasting. So you have like 8 different channels, and so each one's a different event. So when you're looking at the guide, it'll say, team volleyball or synchronized diving or judo, so you can see what the event is, and you can flip back and forth and follow what you want, or see what's going to be happening later on. And they're going on all day. And like I said, very little commercial breaks. So
I'm glad to hear it. Back to the true spirit of the Olympics and sport there. That's really good to hear. Liz is joining us from Paris, actually. Hello, good morning. The Olympic Games have had the most amazing effect on all the locals. Glad to hear it. And the tourists. It's such a joyful atmosphere. I wouldn't have believed it before. Lovely to hear that, Liz. The French have also carried their athletes with their cheering, like our wonderful young swimmer, Léon Marchand, with 4 gold medals, including 2 won within 2 hours of each other. Well, he's going to be riding high, isn't he, or swimming high? Well done, Léon Marchand, with that. A lot of political movement is happening during the Olympics for a reason. Yes, we understand that, Steve, but we don't have to talk about it, do we? And as the Squire of the Shires says, bon dia todos, the athletes. There you go. Who knew the athletes might be the real inspiration for the event in these crazy times? So thank you for mentioning that. And it was great to see you, Simon and Fiona, at the lock-in part of the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club. Really good fun last night. Thank you for being there. Liz F also adding with the judo, with Teddy Reiner and the French team, a spectacular series of moments that kept us holding our breaths, as did the 17-year-old French team winning a bronze for table tennis. So well done, the French, for winning a bronze in table tennis there. And yes, their dedication and teamwork towards their sport is admirable. A lovely thing to be able to see and enjoy every 4 years. This year, of course, in France. And John eagerly and happily watching it commercial free here in Portugal. Today, Sweden is really proud of Armando Duplantis' gold medal and the world record in pole vault yesterday. Excellent. This is really great. Thanks for suggesting this as a topic, John. And we're seeing the best side of the Olympic Games right now here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Let's have a little bit of an interlude before we talk about. I'm still welcoming your comments, obviously, about your favourite sports and your country and how they're doing wherever you're from this morning. But also want to broaden the conversation into more of that good life stuff, that poll that Rachel Bonkink mentioned. But before we go there, let me share with you just over a minute of video from T-Duck. This is a great idea. This is a pilot video, a draft, if you like, of an idea that I'm sure T-Duck wants to expand upon, and is keen to hear some feedback from us this morning. So some scenes, old and new, in Portugal here. We'll be back right after this. Oh, actually, we can still be heard, John, so we can actually talk along to this if you want to. But you'll know this place.
Yes, there was no color back in the day.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
And there it is now. Isn't that beautiful? Now, if you visited Caldas de Lima, you probably have passed that building. And if you haven't passed it, you've smelt it.
And you could probably still see a horse and cart once in a while.
Yes, but not an ass going through the streets like in that photo.
We have one of those Teresa de Reina in Ponte De Lima.
Right.
If that's Teresa. Donna Teresa.
Antonio will let us know. And is she the queen who had the rose, the flowers and bread miracle, I wonder? That's next to our favourite park in Caldas de Lima. Again, if you've visited Caldas, you've probably been down that street there or popped into the park to the left.
I see those cars. Once in a while, you can see those cars fixed up and driving along the roads.
Yeah, absolutely. A rally or something along those lines. Great job, Tito. Absolutely love that. I want to see more of that, and I suspect you'll be doing those around, certainly in the capital and here on the Silver Coast, probably, most likely in Caldas de Lima, based on incredible images that you've been sourcing as well from pictures of yesteryear here in Portugal. So thank you for that. Great job. We picked a great time to fly into Paris this week to visit the Outlaws. It's going to be busy. And talking of asses, it's the running of the donkeys in Heimbach on the 17th. It's on the Gumper map. It's when grown men ride donkeys around the village in various states of drunkenness, I suspect. Okay, I think you quite like this idea then, John. How the idea of the good life has changed over the years. 70s, it was all about a happy marriage, children, fulfilling job, doing something that improves society. Things changed a bit after the 80s, didn't there? It's a little more acquisitive and materialistic, you might say. And what is it now? What are your first thoughts on that, John? I think it's safe to call you a commentator on how society changes.
I would definitely put myself in the former camp rather than the latter in terms of personally. And I think something I've read over the recent years is, and this I would say of myself, as well as younger people too, but there's a lot more interest in experiences, in enriching yourself with exposing yourself to places around the world, and gaining knowledge and gaining experience. So rather than buying things, it's acquiring unique experiences.
But making memories, that's the phrase that's used, isn't it? Making
And
memories.
it's often attributed to like millennials or Gen Xers or something like that. But I would say that's something that I've always enjoyed as well, is adventuring and gaining new experience in new places, and also just knowledge. I'm a complete addict to gaining new knowledge, whether it's historical or cultural or various different peoples around the world. It's unlimited, the things that you learn and how one thing leads to another, whether it's scientific or historical. And I can no end to the entertainment for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you would add to the first category, the old, I guess what we might refer to as the old-fashioned way of creating a good life. Add to it the millennial sensibility of wanting to make memories and enjoy what this world has to offer, basically. It's never been easier, I suppose, in many ways to do that. That's a bit of a hybrid approach, I would say. For Pam, that's the good life. For me, I was walking home alone at midnight on Saturday night, enjoying the festivities and appreciating the lack of fear. Thank you for that. Any more suggestions or your personal views on that would be most welcome. We've got some great comments this morning. We had an interesting point from Nunu earlier on, who was talking about stock market losses. So that's been going on as well, along with everything else that's going on in what seems to be a very busy and sometimes crazy world at the moment. Seems that yesterday's stock market losses keep following, so there were stock market losses yesterday and keep following the trend today is what Nunu will be doing. And I think within that it's quite a nice overlap between the Olympics and the stock market, because Bayrandi mentions gold. Some of those Olympians, if those medals are made of real gold, they might be glad of it. I read the other day you can buy the same kind of house for the same weight of gold in the 1950s as today. Gold keeps its value with inflation. They do say that about gold, don't they, John? About how you can, how it's kept its value, whereas other assets have performed very badly. Gold has kept its value. I don't know if you've got a comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, personally, never been a big fan of investing in gold. It's more of a, maybe have some.
Yes.
Not against it. But.
No, okay. Yeah, maybe that's the real reason why the ladies of Viana do Castelo wear their wealth around their neck like that, with an asset that stood the test of time. Speaking of laundry, as we were, I was thinking the other day, as the wind was dancing with my sheets on the line and taking one clothespin at a time off as I removed them. This is mindful laundry, isn't it? How line drying
the sheets first thing in the morning.
How line drying my laundry has helped heal my soul here in Portugal. That is a lovely vignette. And having visited you in your beautiful location yesterday, Sarah, and that breeze, the hot breeze across the valley, I can really feel the whole sense of that, the atmosphere of you doing that and how powerful that might be. And as I was driving away from your part of town and back into civilization, as it were, not this uncivilized where you are, but into the more cityfied and urban part of the country, the eucalyptus leaves were spinning down in the wind. It was very magical. So I think you've chosen very well out there in a magical part of Portugal. And I can see you with your mindful laundry and how your soul has been healed here in Portugal. So thank you for sharing that with us. Similar experiences are very welcome. On the sporting athletic note, you've also had the Volta up your way as well, haven't you? That's the tour of, like the Tour de France, but Portugal's version. So what happens?
The premier cycling event in Portugal. It was happening last week. it's finished now. It was 10 stages. And the 8th stage was hosted by, the starting point was Viana do Castelo. It went up the coast to Corinha and along the Minho to Valença. And of course, these events, they're followed along by helicopters. So you have these just fantastic aerial views of the countryside. And then it came south down to Arcos de Valdevez, Ponte de Barca, and then ascended the mountains and then descended all the way down to past Vila Verde on the way to Fafe, F-A-F-E, Fafe.
Okay. Yes.
Fafe. And it was fantastic, especially looking at roads that I've driven and places that I've been at, and you're looking at it from above, and it's just a lot of fun. So that was fun to see. And then it finished up. Not sure where it finished up. I know the following day was starting in Porto, but it was all different places up north here.
Very good. Thank you for that. Are you a cyclist as well?
I wish I was. I should. I'm. I was much more in my younger days, but
right. Okay. Because I wanted to ask you, going back to the volleyball, paddle is very, very popular. It would appear among the expats and foreigners as a way of staying fit and healthy. Volleyball too? Is that viable as a sport, as a club?
I haven't seen that. I suppose that if one inquired, there probably would be volleyball leagues and things. There seems to be something, going on. If you ask about it, then it's like what's the saying? If you build it, they'll come, or if you ask,
yes,
if you ask, it'll be answered.
The field of volleyball dreams.
Yeah. So yes, I expect there probably would be. That'd be interesting.
Very good. Okay, a couple more things to share with you before we go. Thanks for being here this morning, John. Always great fun talking to you. The queen that performed the Roses Miracle was Isabel. It's a great story. I started doing a similar thing with old photos. So some feedback for you then, T-Duck. I started doing a similar thing with old photos in Alcobaça. I have quite a collection. And in many ways, isn't it funny how some foreigners are fonder and more passionate about the history than the native people sometimes. I enjoy it's a great way, of course, to engage with the history and culture of the country through its history. I enjoy taking part in community events. It's a great way to meet people, part of the good life, I think there, continued. Part 2 from Pam. Love that video, T-Duck. Great idea. Back to Paris with Liz. Don't know if you heard, but there is a tiny piece of the Eiffel Tower at the heart of each Olympic medal. That's an Eiffel idea. I think
away at the Eiffel Tower.
You've got gold. You've got a bit of Eiffel Tower. Yes, I hope they didn't take away a strategically important part. I think the Queen in Caldas is Dona Leonor, to answer your earlier question. And the Vuelta a España is coming to Portugal in a couple of weeks too. And volleyball is huge here, John. Maybe not so much in your area, but certainly seems to be in central Portugal.
It very well could be. I just haven't looked.
Yes. Now, you were quick on the draw when it came to sushi, Portuguese sushi.
Yes.
And if we go to our Portugal club, there was something we put in there a long time ago. You mentioned tempura, of course. So there is a Japanese-Portuguese connection, isn't there?
Yes, there is. That's the Portuguese sushi. It was the Portuguese traders that had come to Japan that introduced the frying of the shrimp, the camarão, and in Japan they called it tempura.
And a speciality here in Portugal is the peixinhos da horta, which are the garden fish, which is a bean fried in a tempura style as well, which is a really nice snack, tapasy kind of thing that really does connect up the Japanese and Portuguese culture. And finally, if you were concerned about the kangaroo, did you hear about this, John? The kangaroo that was on the loose down near where Bobby O'Reilly lives?
No, but I have a similar story. But
tell yours, and I will then we'll finish today with the news on the update on the kangaroo that was spotted in Aroera. So what's your...
I love these little surreal things that we see, and you're like, this doesn't make any sense. So we're in central Colorado, up at 10,000 feet in a small little mountain town, driving, leaving to go back home for the weekend, or from the weekend. We're just driving around this dirt road, and there's an ostrich running down the middle of the road, and we're like,
what?
Why is there an ostrich in the middle of this mountain road in the middle of nowhere? So yeah, same kind of thing. Why is there a kangaroo hopping down the road here?
His head in the sand, by the sound. It was full pelt, was it, down the street in
Yeah,
Colorado?
it was just we were driving, and it just dashed out in front of us, and then kept on going because it's like
Was Wile E. Coyote in hot pursuit?
Yeah.
Not on that occasion.
So we slowed down. It's like, I don't want to scare it. So,
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Hang around. There might be an egg. It makes a hell of an omelette. Right.
Exactly.
Back to Portugal then. And as we conclude today, here's the little fella who was hopping along.
Puppy.
Wee. And I think it is actually what. There was some confusion whether it was a kangaroo or a wallaby. Authorities have captured a kangaroo, so maybe it's a kangaroo then, that was loose in the Aroera area. Not easy to say. Operation was carried out this Wednesday, that's last Wednesday, by the Almada Animal Supply, the Republican National Guard. We threw everything we had at it, and the Almada Civil Protection. Here it is, look. This, if you're driving along...
that doesn't look like the same picture. That doesn't look like the same thing that was the cute and cuddly one.
No, it doesn't. It looks a bit more aggressive possibly there, doesn't it? But, I mean, isn't it great that we've got kangaroo lanes in Portugal?
Wow, yeah, it's hopping right down the kangaroo lane.
Yeah, you see, some of you who said that was a waste of European money will be laughing on the other side of your face now, because the kangaroo lanes do get used here.
Build it and they will come.
Exactly. Well said, John. And look, he's tired after that, having a little snooze. Oh, look, isn't it cute? And in his little blanket there.
Okay.
So, but what we still don't know, and Bobby has ruled himself out of ownership here, but we don't know who it belonged to or how it got to be. It was a wallaby kangaroo. Okay, well, that settles it. It's both. Sinyesh. Oh, hold on, Viv. Morning, Viv. We saw ostriches down near Sinyesh. So you can see ostriches as well bouncing about in Portugal. John, thank you very much. What have we got planned for today in Ponte De Lima up in the north of Portugal? What are you doing today, mate? You watching more of the Olympics?
What are we doing today?
Yeah, watching more Olympics, I'm guessing.
Well, Olympics is on. Be watching the Portuguese events. Yesterday was a work in the garden day where I was working on the irrigation and things, and so quite proud of myself for
very good
improving the front irrigation a bit. Struggling with water pressure issues where it seems to run out unnecessarily soon. So I don't know whether there's a tank issue or a storage issue or whatever. Seems like it should be unlimited because it's from a borehole. So I don't know why we're having those issues. But
well. Good luck. Good luck.
And then probably getting together with friends for dinner. Pam made her amazing sausage pie, which is like a shepherd's pie kind of thing.
Who doesn't like a sausage pie at any time of day, John? Yeah. Excellent. The good life right there, folks. Thank you for illustrating and sharing it with us this morning. We'll be back tomorrow with a bit of craft beer talk tomorrow. That's part of the show. Many other things as we have become used to. We never quite know what's going to happen on these mornings here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Join us for more fun tomorrow. Cheers, John. Take care. Bye for now. See you, everybody. Nice big round of applause. And where's that video? Oh, here it is. John.
Bom dia, Portugal! In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.